Salvete discipuli. In today's tutorial video, we will study a handful of grammatically interesting sentences from the story Petro. Tum Petro, postquam umerum Barbilli inspexit, spongiam cepit et in aceto summersit. Okay, so remember, when you're looking at the dictionary entry of a verb, now that we've got all of these grammatical items, such as the past participle, you're going to find 4 items listed, okay? The third item is the perfect tense. And most of the time in your reading, that's exactly what you're going to have, okay? So if what you have in your reading looks like the third item, you translate it as simple past tense, okay? So cepit means took, okay? So our subject is tum Petro, okay? But our main verb is still a long ways away, and there is a clause intervening, okay? So then Petro, postquam, after. We have a postquam clause. A postquam clause is going to have its own verb, okay? So this is why commas are our friends, okay? Everything between these commas is the postquam clause. Postquam inspexit, after he inspected. So inspexit will have its own direct object, umerum, meaning the shoulder, and Barbilli is genitive singular. So after he inspected the shoulder of Barbillis, now we go back to the main sentence. Now, the main sentence has 2 verbs, okay? We have cepit, and then here's another verb, summersit, okay? So when you have more than one main verb in a sentence, separated, of course, by like a conjunction like et here, meaning and, you're going to handle the first verb and then move on to the next. So, he took what? Spongiam. He took a sponge. Obviously, our English word sponge is derived from the Latin word spongia. He took a sponge and what did he do? Summersit. He dipped it. Now, we obviously get submerged from this. He dipped, understood it, the sponge. Where did he dip it? In aceto, in vinegar. Okay, so they knew in ancient times that vinegar was certainly slightly acidic, and so it would actually be an antiseptic. And so they're going to use this vinegar-soaked sponge as a way to clean the wound. Barbilli, again, is genitive singular. These are the grammatical points I want you to know. Aceto is ablative singular. It's normal to have ablative after in. If you do have accusative after in, it means into. So, in aceto, in the vinegar. In acetum, into the vinegar. Okay, new sentence. Petro, postquam aquam ferventem postulavit, manus forcipemque diligenter lavit. Petro. Okay, so like the last sentence, okay, keep in mind, like the last sentence, we have this postquam clause in the middle of the sentence. The main sentence is what is outside this postquam clause. Okay, so, but we're going to go ahead and translate the postquam clause now. So Petro, after postulavit, after he demanded, this is going to take an accusative object, after he demanded aquam ferventem, boiling water. Okay, ferventem is a present active participle. That NT followed by third declension endings tells you it is a present active participle. So Petro, after he demanded boiling water, what did he do? Lavit. We run all the way to the end of the sentence. Our main verb is at the end, lavit. He washed. What did he wash? Manus, his hands. This is an accusative plural of a fourth declension noun. If we had long marks, there would be one right here. Okay, so after he demanded boiling water, he washed his hands, and what else? The forceps, okay, obviously we get the English word forceps, comes from the Latin word forcipem there. How did he wash them? He washed them diligently, diligenter. Okay, so what would I like you to know from this sentence? Ferventem is accusative singular. It is a present active participle. New sentence. Deinde forcipem firme tenens, vulnus summa cum cura inspexit. Okay, deinde, then. Okay, we've got a clause here governed by another present active participle. It's NS because it's nominative singular. Okay, so the main, whoever is the subject of the main verb is doing this action, so it's nominative singular. Then holding forcipem, the direct object, holding the forceps in what fashion? Firme, firmly. What did he do? Run to our verb. He inspected. What did he inspect? The direct object of inspexit is vulnus. This is an accusative because it is a neuter noun of the third declension. Okay? So he inspected the wound. How did he inspect the wound? Summa cum cura, with the greatest care. It is normal in Latin, when you have a preposition like cum here, and then you have a noun being governed by the preposition, so with care, it is normal that when you add an adjective, the adjective comes first. Okay, so summa cum cura, with the greatest care. You have the same thing like if you graduate summa cum laude from school as with the greatest praise. Here's what I'd like you to know. Again, that vulnus is a neuter noun, and so that form vulnus is both nominative singular and accusative singular. Vulnera is the plural. If you remember that all neuters have the same form for both nominative and singular, if you know that vulnera is nominative singular plural, vulnera is also accusative singular plural. Again, cum cura, with care. Summa cum cura, with the greatest care. And I would like you to know, again, that's ablative because cum takes ablative. In villa, in the house. Okay? So again, if you wanted to say in the big house, you would put magna before. Magna in villa, in the big house. De monte, down from the mountain. If you wanted to say it was a tall mountain, alto de monte, down from the high mountain. Cutem, quam hasta servi secuerat, perite conseruit. Okay, so again, frequently we have to start with the main verb, which might be the last word in the sentence. He sewed. What did he sew? How did he sew it? Perite, skillfully. Only now we run all the way back to the beginning to pick up our direct object, cutem. He sewed skillfully the skin. Okay, so like we get subcutaneous, meaning under the skin from that. He sewed skillfully the skin quam, which, the reason it's quam is because cutem is a feminine noun and we need a feminine relative. He sewed skillfully the skin which, hasta. Hasta means spear. This is the subject of the verb secuerat, but it is the spear of the slave, genitive singular. Okay, so again, here are the four dictionary entry forms, what we call the principal parts. Seco, secare, secui, sectus, to cut. Okay, so secuerat, okay, you see that this erat is on what we call the perfect stem. The perfect stem is you take the third principal part, which is the perfect tense form, you remove the I, And then you form the pluperfect by adding the forms of the imperfect. Eram, eras, erat, eramos, eratus, erant. You add that to create the pluperfect. Secuerat, had cut. Servi. I'd like you to know that this is genitive singular. Secuerat. I would like you to know that this is pluperfect.